Alright guys, is everybody ready? Okay. We are live in 3, 2, 1. Alright guys, that's a wrap.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Intern Hour. I'm your host, John Fey. I'm the editor-in-chief here at USLA Magazine, and I have Jordan Ezell and Allison Silibovsky with me. We have a couple different topics that we want to discuss today. A lot of things happening in the world. First thing we were going to talk about is the results of the 2020 election. As most of you know,
The predicted results.
the
yes.
predicted results. I should say the predicted results. So as of right now, Joe Biden is the president-elect, having won more electoral votes than President Trump, which means that Kamala Harris will be the vice president as well. She will be the first female vice president in American history, and also the first woman of color.
Yes.
Yes,
So
huge
the-
drive for women. That's giant. We're so excited about that.
It really is.
There's going to be a lot coming with that, especially with Biden having been the vice president. He's been in politics for, I believe, 47 years, 48 years, something like that. He was a longtime politician in Delaware, which we're not that far from. So along with his victory also comes President Trump. He is threatening and going through with several lawsuits in several states, including the state of Pennsylvania, and especially here in Philadelphia. So we're kind of in the midst of that right now. He's been claiming election fraud since the results have come in. I know he has a big legal team, including his main lawyer, former mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani. So that is also going on in the world right now. How do we feel about that?
Oh, Allison, you want to go first?
Sure. If I'm going to be honest, I predicted no matter what the outcome was, someone was going to kind of sue or want to recount. I thought it was inevitable, honestly. And honestly, he has every right to do that. He could think what he wants. And with everything going on, it was such a new way to vote with all these mail-in ballots and everything. So I personally, obviously, I think he has a right to kind of sue and want a recount of all these votes. So I guess we'll see what happens. But I think either candidate had the right to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely saw, no matter how this went, I definitely saw them, either candidate, requesting for a recount. Not really sure that I saw this whole suing thing coming.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Not really surprised. We have talked on the show previously about just Donald Trump's personality. So I don't think that this is a huge shock to anyone. It just makes me nervous. I just feel like I just want to have some clarity, know what's really going on, and put this whole craziness in the past and move forward.
I kind of want them to we kind of got this Joe Biden is the new president-elect, but that's just what the media says.
Right, it's not...
nothing's official, and I just, we've been dealing with the election and everything going on for the past month. It's now that everything's over, we just want there to be a president that's going to come in office, and, the thought of having to go possibly through that process again, that's just, it's a little exhausting.
This is still a developing part of the story that's going on. The law firm that was representing President Trump, specifically in the Pennsylvania suit, they've withdrawn from the lawsuit.
Okay.
I don't know if that means that the lawsuit is ending.
Right.
You said that's in Philadelphia? Or Pennsylvania?
For Pennsylvania in general, but I think specifically they were looking at Philadelphia for the fraud. So
Do you know why they backed out?
they haven't made it very clear right now, but the law firm has withdrawn from helping the president right now.
Interesting.
That doesn't necessarily mean that the suit is over. He could get another law firm to help him out, but I think that that's important because hypothetically, I think if let's say that there was fraud, let's pretend for a second there is fraud, they find it, Pennsylvania flips to Trump, that would be like a major shift in the electoral votes right
Yeah.
now. Not necessarily that he would win, but it'll definitely have a huge impact as to whether or not he, through recounts and through investigations that are going on right now, if he wins it, it could mean he's closer to actually becoming the president, maybe before the year's over. If not, it doesn't look that good for him.
Do you know when exactly, or, I mean, an estimated time of when the results of all of these lawsuits would come out?
It could go on until January, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So-
Most people think it's going to be sometime in December, though there are some predictions that it could be at the end of the month.
So
At the end
what
of this
if,
month, I mean.
like, what if we don't know and January rolls around and these lawsuits are still happening? Then who would take office?
Well, it's not until January 20th that
Yeah, so I guess
Joe Biden would be inaugurated.
Mm-hmm.
So.
it probably wouldn't last that long.
I don't know.
I don't know anymore. Yeah, that'll get tricky if it comes around the day where the president is supposed to be inaugurated, which right now it's Joe Biden being inaugurated. But
Man,
It
the
could
tea
flip.
that has been
Ugh.
spilled all over 2020 is just
This-
piping.
This is a little like fun fact. I have a friend who lives in Israel right now, and I was talking to him the other day, and he like just texted me. He's like, "I'm so happy for your country that like this election is over." So it's like people even in other countries, they're just like watching this like
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
like on it like, "Ooh, who's gonna win? What's the tea? What's the tea?" I thought that was funny. It was like one of the first things he said to me.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that on social media of a bunch of different countries and how they've been reacting
Mm-hmm.
to the U.S. election. And I just think that's super, super awesome and very interesting that,
Yeah.
everyone else has their eye on the U.S. right now.
Yeah, I think the whole world's definitely looking at us because
Mhm.
we've had one of the most contentious elections this year. And I'm going to say one of them because we will discuss another country that's having some political issues right now a little later in our show. But yeah, 2020 has been a very long year, especially
boy.
politically. This isn't the first time that this has happened, though. Let's go back in time 20 years to the 2000 election where Al Gore was declared president at first. He won the electoral votes and everything, and then through a series of events and lawsuits, especially with the recount in Florida, it ended up being George Bush winning the presidency. So
Yeah.
this is not an isolated incident of something like this happening.
But this is happening on a much larger scale
Right.
Much
than
larger
back
scale,
in 2000.
Yeah, I mean we were all way too young to remember.
I was gonna
that.
say
I
I was
don't
3
think
years
I was
old.
alive.
You don't? Yeah, you. Yeah,
Yeah, because it would have happened in
Yeah.
1999. I was not alive.
True. Yep.
What's up, y'all?
Yeah, so we're going to keep everybody here updated on what's going on. We're all paying attention to that. It's going to be very interesting to see
Yeah.
what the results of that are because there's mass celebration throughout the country after
Yes.
Biden was declared victor. So if that's overturned,
Oh boy.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, man, yeah. Might take a vacation to Canada that week.
I just thought of there's going to be another first if Joe Biden becomes into office. So his dog is the first rescue dog. I forgot the dog's name, but Joe Biden's dog would be the first rescue dog to step paws, I guess, into the White House. So I saw a bunch of things on social media. That's like kind of a huge deal for the rescue animal community.
Adopt, shop, yeah.
Because it's becoming like, oh, if now the possible new president has a rescue dog, so maybe you should.
Cute dog, too.
Oh, he's a cutie. He's a very. Do we know what his name is?
I don't remember.
Why do I want to say it's Scout? I feel like that's wrong.
it's something like that.
I'm going to interrupt our story really quickly. We just got an update from Olivia, our sound person, that someone has commented on the stream, and I think we would want to respond to that.
Some engagement?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Can you show it on the screen that we can see? Are you able to do that?
I already started the live stream on this one, but I can read it.
Sure.
It's from Alex Flamer.
Okay.
And he or she said people need to realize that Trump is trying to cheat. Trump knows he's lost, so he's trying to make things difficult for Biden.
Interesting take. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting take. I'm not going to comment because we're
We're-
nonpartisan.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you, Alex. Thank you for the feedback. I think it's another
I
prime
think a lot
example
of people do feel that
Yeah.
way.
Yes.
I know that's been a major thing that I've seen on my social media. You know, I've seen both sides of it. So it's just a crazy time where no one really knows what's fully going on. Or
And there are
what
a
to
lot of
expect.
emotions going
Mhm.
through the air. Like we said, like we are nonpartisan, so can't really respond too much to that.
Yeah, we all have our own opinions, but
But yeah, emotions are just like flying right now, and everyone has their own different. Like I've heard it from so many people of both sides, if I'm going to be honest. And it's really honestly, this election has really tore our country apart.
I think that out of any election, this one has really shown how divided we are.
Yes.
Which is just so insane, especially with how close this election is. I mean, it was pretty much straight down the middle for a lot of different states. So just that was eye-opening of, you know, I thought something was going to go one way or something was going to go another way, but no, it was more close than I predicted it to be.
Yeah.
I think something important to remember is that it's not a black and white issue. It's not so cut and dry
Yeah.
as you make it out to be. It's like, oh, everybody who supports Donald Trump thinks exactly one way. Everybody who supported Biden thinks exactly another way. I've realized, I have a lot of different people in my life who have differing political opinions, maybe from myself, or, you know, we have some agreements. And, you know, not everybody's exactly like, you know, maybe I know people who like Donald Trump, but they don't like, you know, they like A, B, and C about him, but they don't like D, E, and F.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that that's fair. And the same thing goes for President-elect Joe Biden. There's some people who like certain things about him, and there's some people who think that there are things not being talked about, or they don't like certain policies that he supported in the past, such as the 94 crime bill. There's a lot of people I know who didn't vote for him specifically because of that. And they either voted
Yeah.
for Trump or they voted for maybe the Libertarian candidate, Joe Jorgensen, who's a professor at Clemson University.
Can't be everyone's cup of tea.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's
It's not.
how
It's
it
not.
is
It's not as
every-
black and white as people make it out to be. So
Yeah.
we will definitely keep you updated on what's going on with the election because we are surely all paying attention to it, and
Right.
we're a little burnt out from it. But you know, it's important that we stay on top of it.
Mhm.
Definitely appreciate your input, though, Alex. I really, you know,
Yeah,
Yes.
thank
Thank
you,
you,
Alex,
Alex.
for the-
Thank you. We
Yes.
really appreciate
we
your
definitely
feedback.
want
Yes.
this show to be engaging with our listeners. So if anybody else is out there and wants to, you know, add into our conversation, please feel free.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. So I want to talk
All right.
about.
We definitely want to talk about a big piece of news that hopefully is going to affect everybody very positively in the very near future. Drug maker Pfizer has come out with a COVID vaccine that at the moment is showing a 90% success rate, which none of the proposed ones that have come out so far have had even close to 90.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are thinking that this might be the vaccine we've been waiting
Right.
for.
Mhm.
Right.
And I think it's definitely important that something like this gets out to the public so that we can maybe not eliminate COVID, but bring it down to the point where we can go back to living normal. Because
I
I think
think so.
everybody just wants to live a normal life at this
Right.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, and I dived into some research on this because I was definitely really interested. And I was, you know, the typical FDA approval process takes between 2 to 3 years, and you'll have a, you know, various stage of trials. I believe that there's 3 trials in total for the FDA approval process. Right now, for this vaccine, trials are still happening, and it's estimated to be submitted for emergency use authorization, you know, EUA, around the next week or the week after. So it's definitely looking like it's going to be coming into fruition soon. And if the EUA is granted, it could be distributed by early December. So I think that for a lot of people, this is just definitely, you know, it's finally something positive going on in 2020.
Mhm. Yep.
But another is, you know, topic of conversation is who's going to be the first people to get this vaccine.
Yes.
And also, there are a lot of people who are not necessarily into the, you know,
Idea of it,
anti-vaccine.
yeah.
They're not people associated with the anti-vaccine movement, but they're people that don't necessarily want to take something that has had a significant amount of research done. But most of the time when a vaccine like this comes out, it's a few years of research. But
Right.
we're in a tough situation where we need something now.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of people that will that they're like, look, I don't care if there's side effects. I just want something now. And there's other people that are like, no, I don't know what the side effects are of this. I'd rather down the line.
From what I was looking up, and I didn't write this down, I don't know why I didn't, but the side effects didn't look, that much different than, the typical side effects of taking an Advil. There could be, I think it was headaches, nausea, and there are a few other things that they had listed on there, but they didn't seem as bad. But again, it's still in the trial phase.
Yeah.
So
right now, it just, from like just what you're saying, it seems like the typical side effects of like getting your flu vaccine
Right.
every year. But I know like there's a lot of people who like this issue is again more split than you would think. Between the people who don't feel comfortable getting the vaccine, not because they're anti-vaxxers, they just don't feel comfortable yet, and the ones who just want to get back to normal life.
Right. And there's people that it's critical for. I mean, I was looking at the first people that they would be giving this vaccine out to would be healthcare workers and high-risk/elderly citizens. So this would be, a necessity for them. It'd be really, really important
Absolutely.
for them to have it. So I think just overall, it's just great that whether you feel comfortable taking it now or not at all, or you don't, it's just a really good thing that we have coming our way.
Yeah.
Alex commented again on the topic that is being discussed.
Yeah, go ahead,
They
share it.
said people aren't traditionally open to vaccines, should be open to this one if they want a sense of normalcy to return to the world.
Okay.
I think something we also have to remember is even if we receive this vaccine and everyone on a mass scale receives it, is it really going to put us back into a normal state
Right.
pre-COVID? We don't know necessarily what's going to happen. Are we still going to, have to socially distant, have to be socially distant, have to still wear masks? Are we still going to be forced to take online classes?
Right.
So while this is a step in the right direction, we don't necessarily know the outcome. So I think we just have to also keep in mind that yes, it's probably good for people if they say this is a very effective vaccine for everyone to get it. We don't know what the future is going to hold because people have gotten this vaccine.
Right. And we can't, the government can't mandate that everyone has it, that everyone gets the vaccine. And I genuinely don't think that world as we know it, pre-COVID is ever going to look like what we knew after all of this. There's been so many things, so much has happened in this past year that nothing's going to be the same.
No.
I think that we're probably going to be wearing masks for a while. In regards to online classes and everything. I know that Temple already, said that we're going to be online for next semester. So everything is just going to take some time, but this vaccine is definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And I'm going to shift to the next bit of this, but it's something that I'm interested in, and I definitely want you guys' feedback on this because I haven't really discussed this with a lot of people. But with President Biden winning, and also just a lot of the other things that have been going on this year, where we have mass protests going on. I've heard a lot of arguments from people who are saying these protests are going on and there's no social distancing going on during those. I'm so conflicted on that.
I have to agree with you. I'm very conflicted on it because on one side, the humanity issues that are happening nowadays with everything going on with the Black Lives Matter, with police brutality, we need, protesting, it's a good thing. We need that. But on the other hand, we're still in a pandemic. And to be doing all these protests, whether you're wearing a mask or not, it's not really safe for the spread of the virus. So it's a very I'm with you. I'm very conflicted on the issue.
I'm very conflicted on
I
this.
don't even know how you would be able to mandate something like that.
Exactly. With our American laws, how?
Right. And regards to what happened in Philly after Joe Biden was predicted to be the next president, I did see a lot of people still wearing masks.
Yes.
But at what point is that?
How much is that actually doing?
Right.
When you're huddled up next to each other.
Yeah. But then again, I think that the world just needed to celebrate and to, have that joy that, so many people
It was such a
were
relief.
feeling. Right. It was something that they wanted, that needed to be celebrated. And I think that no matter what, that was going to happen. So whether they, I don't even know how you would mandate it.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. If people are able to do that, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be able to. I'm not at all saying that. But if mass gatherings are kind of like nobody's really saying anything about that, what about other things that like people can't do mass gatherings at? Like let's say
yeah.
concerts. Yes.
Honestly, concerts are more regulated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those things are probably safer than. I don't know if I told you guys this, but back in August, I went to a drive-in concert, and I felt completely safe there. We were all distanced, each car, you know, we went through our cars, and we were all, you know, a space away from each other, and that felt way more comfortable than if I were to have gone to Philly over this past weekend, and, you know, everyone was around there, so I feel like that stuff is more, you're able to control is maybe not the best word. You're able to organize that and to make sure everyone feels safe a little bit easier than just the bunch of people just being in the city. You know, you can't
Very true.
really control that.
Yes, Olivia.
I was just gonna say, like, also for people who are trying to make it like a political thing, like, there's a lot of people being like, oh, these protesters, like, they're spreading COVID, they're not wearing their masks. But there was a lot of Trump rallies too during this election.
Oh, it's both sides.
There was
both sides.
yeah, there was no masks. Like I saw videos of these Trump rallies. It was a lot of people, like hundreds of people, no masks, waiting in line. They didn't care to wear one. They didn't care about protecting the people around them. So I'm not saying that you weren't saying that too, but like for people who are trying to make it like a political thing, that's kind of hypocritical because on both sides, like protests and Trump rallies, you know, it's both of them that there's issues.
It's definitely
both sides.
both.
Yeah, it's everyone. I mean, just I don't know how hard. It's not that hard to wear a mask and to care about other people.
I know.
Should also bring up that President-elect Joe Biden has discussed the possibility of when, you know, if he
It wasn't Joe Biden. It was his coronavirus.
Yes, I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. It was his
advisor.
coronavirus task force, correct?
Right. So, Michael Osterholm, hopefully I pronounced his name right. He is Joe Biden's coronavirus advisor, and he was talking. None of this is. Just want to make sure everyone knows that this is not official. This is just kind of in the works, something that's being talked about, discussed on how to handle the coronavirus pandemic from here. But he was suggesting doing another 4 to 6 week shutdown.
I have a quote directly from him. He said, if we can pay for a package right now to cover all the lost wages for individual workers, for losses to small companies, to medium-sized companies, or cities, state, county governments, if we did all of that, we could lock down for 4 to 6 weeks. So just know that if this does come into play, like you're saying they're talking about, I think it would be a lot more mandated maybe than last time. Like they're going to compensate for like the loss of economic resources and money and everything.
Yeah, and my opinion on this is if this were to happen, at least we would all have a heads up because, you know, when we were going into lockdown before, none of us knew what was going on. So we weren't able to properly prepare. That's why you see the wipeout of toilet paper and you know, the Lysol cleaning wipes. But if we know about it, at least we're able to prepare for that. We're able to get ourselves set up, and we've been through it before for a much longer time than just 4 to 6 weeks. So I don't know if this is, and they're saying that this would be a way for them to try to get everything under control.
And I think honestly, it's a good idea in my opinion. Like 4 to 6 weeks, a genuine lockdown. Like it's not gonna be fun, but we've been through it like you said before. So 4 to 6 weeks in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like a month and a half to 2 months, and then possibly we can be in a lot better state than we are right now.
And people wouldn't be dying. I mean, wouldn't be dying as much.
Yes.
I guess that's what it is.
Yep. I think it's definitely important that we do get some kind of economic relief from our government. I think that we're very lucky in that because some governments transition to a new story right now. Some governments are not doing that, such as Peru, where in our country we've been having a lot of political unrest this year, especially this year. I mean, I'd say even more than 2016.
Oh, definitely.
Just with everything going on this year. But if you look over to Peru, they're having a lot of issues right now with their political leaders. Just about 3 days ago, their third president in a 5-year period was impeached and removed from office, and then immediately replaced with somebody where the people of Peru have been protesting the now previous president because of his what's been called incompetence. He shut down the country completely and provided absolutely no economic relief to his people. So he just left them out, and he left them out to fend for themselves effectively. And protests began about this. And once they removed him, they replaced him with somebody else who the people think is just as corrupt, or if not more corrupt.
Do the people of Peru vote for their president?
I don't believe so.
It doesn't sound like.
No,
Yeah.
I don't believe they do. It didn't seem like they did. And I don't know a ton about the politics of Peru, but the leadership there, it sounds like there's been a lot of corruption in that country for quite a while. They've been having a string of bad leaders, one after the other. This now previous president was only in office for, I don't even think 2 years, or just a little over 2 years. And now they got this new guy. They were protesting the previous one, and now with this new one, they're still protesting him because they're like, oh my God, he's just as bad as the last one. And I believe the new guy also was involved with the impeachment of the last guy, so some people think that there was some power grabbing going on. It's very sad, but I think it was a reminder, because I only read about this maybe 2 days ago, is that we all should, we have problems in our country, but there are places around the world that have it much worse off than we do. And Peru's not a country that I think of when, I'll say it, they're not a country I think of when I think of like political landscapes, but they are a place that I think right now deserves to have an extra bit of attention directed their way. Do we have any thoughts on this? I'm making a my main thing is I'm making a comparison to, like, it's not it's not ideal in America right now with everything going on, but there's some other places in the world where it's much worse off.
I think it kind of gives me a sense of, just happiness for being an American, because, there's so many other countries out there that their citizens don't have the same freedoms, or, they aren't able to share to use their voice. And I think that's something sometimes we could take for granted. And these type of situations, hearing about these news, things that are going around the world, just really brings it to, is an eye-opener that we are really lucky, with the situation that we have, the democracy that we live in. And it's just heartbreaking to hear that. And it's heartbreaking to hear about a lot of the other countries that have been going through some awful, terrible things as well. And I'll be honest, if we didn't look into this topic to cover for our show today, I don't know if I would have known about it. You're right.
Because they're not talking about it right now in America. But I think it's an important topic that, like, we should know what's going on around our world, especially with huge issues like this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not just, or I feel like sometimes our vision is so, USA.
Tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision.
Yeah.
There's so much more that's going on that we're just not seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also will make another mention of, that we hadn't discussed this beforehand, but this is another country that is unfortunately facing some really bad problems right now. There's been a long time issue between the country of Turkey and the country of Armenia and some of the other countries with Armenian people in it. And as of about a month ago, they've had a string of attacks from militia people from Turkey and should have known how to pronounce it. Azerbaijan. Do you know what country I'm talking about?
No.
I know.
God,
I can
I'm sorry,
picture
everyone.
I do not know what the word is, but I can picture it.
Yes.
It's like
Azerbaijan. I just remembered.
All right. There we go.
Azerbaijan. So Turkey and Azerbaijan, unfortunately, they've been having some conflicts in Armenia and other countries with Armenian people in it, which has been causing mass migration of Armenian people to other countries. They're having to leave places where their families have been for generations and generations, and they're in the face of violence right now. So I think that is another thing where, perfect example of, America's got problems, but it could be a lot worse.
Right.
Yeah. So I highly suggest to anybody who's uninformed about these stories, if you're at all interested in humanitarian relief, there are certain websites you can go to and try to provide relief. I know for the problems going on with the Armenian people right now, But also, I'm sure that there are some with Peru, and I also just highly suggest just stay informed on something like this. 'Cause it's important. Like you said, don't have American tunnel vision. You know,
Right.
you got to look at the world as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who have it a lot worse off than we do, and you know, I just hope that these countries can get back to peace and having, you know, some form of democracy, some form of peace, especially in the ones where a lot of violence is happening.
Right. We should definitely
So-
be more grateful, you know,
Mhm.
have a little bit of gratitude in our hearts each
Exactly.
day.
Definitely.
of what
And that
we're
doesn't
allowed.
necessarily mean to ignore the problems we have in this country.
Yeah.
We have major issues in this
Mhm.
country,
Oh,
but
100%.
it's
Be informed about
on a-
everyone.
on a scale of how bad it is. It's not as bad as some other countries right now.
Just like, also remember that we, as Americans, have the right to kind of work to change
Right.
Yeah.
all of the terrible issues we have in our own country.
Yeah, we get to
And-
elect our president. We get to,
Exactly.
you know, we have freedom of speech.
Other countries are not as fortunate as we are.
We get to vote our leaders in. Some countries don't have the same.
Exactly. Right.
Exactly.
It's just
Um,
here's your new guy that's not going to do that much good for you.
Right.
So unfortunately, that sounds like what's happening in
In
Peru
Peru,
right now,
yeah.
and that's why the
Definitely.
people there are they're sick of their government not caring about them.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes, again, please look into the issues going look into the issues going on in Peru and Armenia. Those are and there's plenty of issues going on around the world. Those are just the two that have really caught my attention lately. I highly suggest keeping updated on those. There's I should also mention there's a website called Armenia Fund if you do want to donate money and find out more about the issues that are going on in those countries. And it's also not as, you know, there's a lot of issues going on, especially with the Armenian one, and I think you should definitely look into the history of that because this is an issue that's been going on for a very long time, and unfortunately it's coming to a head again just in the last month.
Yeah, and if, you know, our listeners know about situations that are going around the world that they do like us to talk about and we'd like us to cover, definitely message us through our Instagram at the Intern Hour. We'd love to hear from you guys. We'd love to hear what you'd like us to cover, and, you know, open our eyes to other things going on in the world.
Yeah, any of our listeners, like Alex, anybody who's, you know, adding into our chat, please tell us about what you want us to discuss. We'll look into it. We will discuss it to the best of our ability, because that's what we're here for. We're a nonpartisan news outlet, and that's at the end of the day, that's what we're doing the Intern Hour for.
Yeah.
Here
We're
for
talking
you.
about some serious stuff, and we try to end it lighthearted,
It's our
and then we say
slogan.
bye until we talk about serious issues. We ended on somewhat of a lighthearted subject, and then we
Yeah.
move on to the next thing.
Right.
Exactly.
Giving our youthful opinions.
Yes.
Do we have any comments?
Yeah,
We do.
our friend Alex
Ah.
actually just said, even as students, I think we are lucky that we have all these resources and still have our health and education, which I thought was like
It's a great
really
point,
nice,
Alex. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah.
nice, lighthearted point.
It's so true.
It's
Yeah.
because again, not everyone in other countries are as fortunate as we are. We are educated, or we do have the opportunity to become educated in this country, and we again,
a lot of opportunities
Mhm.
for us.
yes. So, think something we just have to remember.
I'm very grateful for education. You all know I took some time off in school, so I'm finishing a little late. But it's better later than never is how I'm
Exactly.
looking at it,
Right.
and it's made such a huge difference in my life. I've been very fortunate to have some great teachers. I've learned so much about the career field that I'm just starting off in, and I just feel like it's really opened up the world to me. So I'd highly suggest anybody, if you're able to get a college education, to take it. If not, I get that. I'm the only one of my close friends who went to like a 4-year college. All my other friends are in like blue collar trades, which is fine. They're happy with that. But you know, it's the land of opportunity.
really is,
It's the land of
yes, yes.
opportunity. Also, Alex, if you're still commenting, we want to know what college you're at. Are you at Temple or are you in the Philadelphia area? Olivia?
He has not said.
Okay. He-
But when he does, I will be more than happy to.
I actually,
let
I
him
know Alex.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
He's in the Temple Ag Club with me.
Oh, okay.
Hello,
Okay.
Alex.
Okay.
Go Owls.
He's in
He said,
he's
"Yes,
at
I'm
Temple.
at Temple."
Yeah.
See?
Woo!
Go Owls!
Yes.
Go Owls.
Nice. Well,
Thank you,
for joining
thank you,
us.
thank you for your comments, Alex. We really appreciate
yes.
them.
Also, for future shows, he did say that he would like to know more about people who just got elected into office, senators, mayors,
Okay,
etc.
yeah.
Yes,
So.
We can
absolutely.
make that a little segment for our next show.
Oh yes, could definitely cover that.
Yes, yes.
More of
We'll-
local officials and everything.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
So we're going to move on to our next subject.
Positivity. Let's go. Let's change the mood here, guys.
No, not positivity.
this
It's
one's
Friday
not.
the 13th.
Oh yes.
Black cats and walking
Still
under
a
ladders.
little bit more lighthearted than the conversations we've been having.
Oh no.
Whoa,
what is
what's that?
Our Usula
Do
ghost.
you guys hear that? I think there's a ghost in
It's
Usula.
it's either the Usula ghost or it's Olivia making noises.
No.
I'm gonna
definitely
go.
not
With,
Olivia.
I'm gonna go with ghost.
Yeah.
It's definitely the ghost.
Guys, I didn't even say anything. It was definitely the ghost.
Definitely a ghost.
I gotta get out. No.
Yeah, we were thinking about what topics to do for our show this week, and it hit me yesterday. Today is Friday the 13th.
I didn't realize that until I came in today and you told me that, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. I think
It's the year we're having. We don't even know when it's Friday the
Right.
13th anymore.
Actually, not to bring it back to COVID topic, but last Friday the 13th was 8 months ago, and that was the day that the United States declared COVID a pandemic. So
Oh.
congrats, everyone. It's been 8 months.
We've
Wow.
made
We've
it.
lived 8 months.
We've lived 8 months through this. And
Wow.
the main thing we wanted to discuss with this is superstition, especially in
yes.
this very long year that we're having. Who here is superstitious? I'm going to start off and say I'm not a superstitious person.
I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. Does anyone know what that quote is?
No, but I love that.
I'm
quote.
gonna go. I'm actually gonna go with that. I
Yeah.
keep the possibility open. Yeah.
I'm not I don't know. I'm not superstitious, but like I have my own like small ones that I do here and there.
Mhm.
But like overall, like I don't know, if I see a black cat, it's like it's a cat. Like I've broken mirrors before.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, like I should be probably 28 years in the hole right now.
Same. I didn't end
From
up
all my mirrors.
sending any of those email
Oh.
chains in middle school and high school, so I've got about 50 years of bad luck for me.
What about you, Olivia? Are you superstitious at all?
Yeah, I am totally superstitious. I also like I don't know. Like I remember my parents actually being like superstitious as I was growing up about like mirrors and like actually getting 2 cats at once was a superstition. They're not
Okay.
not like the normal superstitions,
Yeah.
like the black cat type thing, but like there's definitely some. So like now I'm always every time I see it, I'm just like I don't know about that.
There's also little ones that I do all the time that you probably wouldn't think about. Knocking on wood.
Oh, I do that all the time.
I actually do. I do knock.
Yeah,
on wood.
I knock
Yep.
on wood all of the time. I feel like that's a big one. But yeah.
I have one that I've been doing forever. It's I don't know if this is a superstition or just ritual or whatever I do. Whenever I get a test or an assignment back, and you have to like go up to the teacher, or go up to the professor to get your paper, I will never look at the paper until I sit back down. I cannot look at my grade until I sit back down.
I don't have the patience for that.
I just I've never looked at it. It's because if I look at it, oh my god, it's gonna be bad. I have to wait till I sit down.
I don't know if this is superstition or it could just be me being weird, but I have in my car. This happens in my car all the time. It's mostly like a car thing. Like if I have the AC or the heat on, it needs to be on an even number. And the volume, like if it's on 35, it's like no, I gotta put it up to 36.
If it would be a superstition if you had a reason of why you were trying to prevent something from happening.
I feel like there is in the back of my head, but I've just never given it reason. Like I explained it to my girlfriend once. She was like, okay.
I feel like that's a lot of people like even numbers.
Yeah, I mean it's just satisfying when
Yeah.
things are even.
Yeah, it could be that.
Yeah.
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 I don't know anybody that's very superstitious.
No.
And
It depends.
sometimes it's like grandparents a lot.
I
But,
think
like,
it's more of an
my,
older thing.
Like
I don't-
my grandmother, she's from Ireland. Like I feel like that would be a place where you get superstition. I don't think she's very superstitious.
I was gonna say I don't think neither one of my grandparents are superstitious.
Yeah.
They're very much life's what you make it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it just depends. But there's definitely some ones that I catch myself doing every now and then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or what about the salt behind? Throwing the salt behind your shoulder. if you
I've
knock
never
some of
done that.
I think
I've done it.
I think I've done that not even thinking about it once. I was just like, this is something I have to do.
Yeah, I've done it. I don't know why.
I don't know. Then
Yeah.
you get salt all over the I
Yeah.
just don't
Right.
see the point. Like you're gonna make a mess, so why
Yeah.
do it?
Bad luck follows me regardless.
Honestly, yeah. I'm just walking in the bad luck, so
Yeah.
might as well embrace it.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we're not that superstitious
Yeah,
at the
I
end of the
guess
day.
Friday the 13th, I feel like when I was a kid, it was always such a big deal. But nowadays, it's just Another day.
My mom like growing up, so I'm Jewish, and my mom growing up was always like Friday the 13th. Everyone's like always so like, oh my God, it's Friday the 13th. But for the Jews, she always said it's actually like a good luck day. So I don't actually know if that's true. Have never done research on that.
Another superstition.
But that's just, shout out to you, Mom. That's just what she always said to me. So maybe if you're Jewish, today's your day. So
Make the best out of it.
I grew up with like a big Catholic family, especially my mother's side, big Irish Catholic family, and it wasn't really like superstition. But my grandmother, still to this day, she's 86, and she's always like, if I tell her I'm having a problem with something, she's like, "I'll pray to Saint Jude. He's the saint of like impossible situations," or something like that. And like, it's not really superstition, but it's like it's in that same realm
yeah.
where she's like specifically this one saint. Always, her entire life, it's always been St. Jude. So that's always like stuck out in my head. It was always just like, now that I'm older, I'm just like I got like a little St. Jude thing in my room just because Nana always brought him up.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's in that realm, but it's like, yeah. Like the way we think of superstition, I think it's not exactly the way. I think some people like, they're just like, yeah, obviously you have to stay away from black cats.
Yeah.
Some like, and you mentioned this earlier, like we're not going out of our way to walk under ladders.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you're not
So
going to
it's
do
not necessarily that we
Can
think.
can I walk under a ladder without having to bend my head down?
Yeah.
Yes.
'Cause we're
But am
not-
I actively doing that?
No.
Yeah, because we're a little stitious.
Yeah. A little superstitious, but a little stitious.
We got any comments, Olivia?
Yes.
Oh.
Alex said, I am only superstitious for the things that give me good luck.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of interested for him to kind of expand on that.
Yeah.
Like what things give you good luck? Because I've thought about a few of them. Like before a test, if you're chewing gum while studying,
I've heard
and
that.
you chew the same piece of gum or the same flavor while you're taking the test, it'll stimulate your brain better, so you remember what's on it.
Irish. I found a 4-leaf clover when I was in
Okay.
5th grade,
Flavors, yeah.
and I did great in school for like the rest of that year, and I
Really?
think it was because of the 4-leaf clover. I still have that
Nice.
4-leaf clover to this
Wow.
day. Yeah.
Rabbit's feet.
Oh, you rub the
Mhm.
rabbits.
Yep.
Yeah, my dad had one in his truck when we were younger, and you know the guardian angels too.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, those are some things that I'm coming to mind with.
Alex also said, don't kill ladybugs.
Really?
Yes, I've heard that one.
I mean, I'm
I
not going to go
have-
kill a
me
ladybug,
too.
but I've never heard that one.
You're gonna
I-
kill a
yeah.
lanternfly.
Oh.
Oh.
Yes.
Stomp.
Make sure you stomp those lantern flies.
Also, if you find a coin on the ground and it's heads up.
Mm.
Oh
that's
yeah,
good.
penny.
Yes.
Yep, that's a good one
I'll have
too.
to remember that.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh, I pick up pennies.
Mhm.
oh,
You find a penny, good luck, something like that.
Yeah,
I pick
find
up,
a penny, pick it up
if I
all
find a
day
penny,
long.
I'll hold on to it for a little bit.
except,
so I am a little stitious. Yeah, no, I'm realizing things about myself.
Everyone's a little stitious.
Everyone's a little stitious.
I don't know if you guys do this. So, like, you've always heard, like, don't step on, like, there's
don't
this
step
saying,
on a crack,
you'll
break
break your
your- yeah.
mother's back. I,
Yep.
like, again, never, I was like, oh, that's so stupid. So, my younger self was always like, I'm going to step on all the cracks.
I did the
would,
same.
like,
I did
jump
the same
from
thing.
crack to
I'm never
crack.
having children.
So, I'm sorry, Mom, you're back. But,
Walk in the house later, Mom.
But I just,
She's
like,
listening. She's
I would,
gonna
like,
be mad.
walk, like, jump from crack to crack. I was like, or step on a line, you break your father's spine. That was another.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
I haven't
Oh,
heard
I've
that.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah.
Really? Wait, can you break your spine? Yeah, the spinal cord.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
you
can. Yeah.
All right. So, little bit of lighthearted news. Christmas is still happening in New York City, at least, because the Rockefeller tree has made its way to the Rockefeller Center.
Oh.
From Oneonta, New York. My mother is an Oneonta alum, and she was very happy to inform me about this yesterday.
Yeah.
She went to SUNY Oneonta. Is it SUNY or SUNY?
SUNY.
SUNY. Okay.
SUNY schools.
I feel like
Yep.
it really wouldn't be a true holiday season without the Rockefeller
you have
tree,
to.
Christmas tree.
And like, you can be socially distant. You can wear your mask.
Yeah.
You have to have the tree.
Mhm.
It's a New York staple.
And I feel like it's what our country needs right now.
Yeah.
And not even just our country, but everyone could use some positivity and some
Honestly.
joy.
Yep.
So, speaking about Christmas, how do you guys feel about people decorating early?
My girlfriend and my sister started playing Christmas music like 2 weeks ago, and it was honestly like kind of aggravating. I was like, stop. Like, to me, like, Thanksgiving evening is the proper time to start Christmas music. Like, that is the earliest in my opinion, but they started like after Halloween.
Right.
I was in my car with my girlfriend and she started playing a bunch of Christmas songs. I was like, what are you doing? It's too early. And she's like, no, it's not.
I'm like very like, okay, not to be like that person, but like I'm very against it. This could be because I do not celebrate Christmas.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Not everybody's celebrating Christmas.
Yeah, but like you have like, I don't know, you have to wait until after Thanksgiving. Black Friday, go ahead, all out, put up your tree, wear the Santa hats, like do all that stuff. I don't care. But until then, you still have Thanksgiving. I personally love Thanksgiving. Like, I love food and Thanksgiving. So, don't forget Thanksgiving, people, you know?
I gotta admit, I was very much on the same track with you guys about not wanting to celebrate Christmas early, but this year has kind of changed my mind a little bit just because if looking forward to Christmas and starting to play Christmas music early and decorating is going to make somebody happy during a time where we could all use some extra joy, who am I to shut it down?
That's also very true. Like, right now, you know, if you want to play the Christmas songs because it's going to make you a little happier, I guess go for it.
Yeah. Who am I to sit here and say no?
It's a good point. I think we need a little Christmas cheer, maybe a little bit early.
Yeah.
I'll forgive it this year.
Yeah,
But in general, Thanksgiving evening, people. It's the earliest I want to hear it from here on out. Olivia?
I think from the standpoint of someone who actually does celebrate Christmas, I still do not like Christmas music. I never have.
Okay.
I love Thanksgiving. I love the food. I hate the idea behind it because
Yes,
the actual
yes.
idea
Oh, yes.
behind Thanksgiving
Yeah.
is not terrible. It's
Thank you for
actually
bringing that up.
awful.
Yes.
I do not like celebrating the actual holiday of Thanksgiving. I just really love eating food with my family and all that,
Yes.
and having a nice glass of wine. So
I try
that's
to
just me.
I try to think of it as, okay, this is a day to give thanks.
Yes.
And I try to ignore all of the terrible, awful, really bad
history.
stuff behind Thanksgiving. To be honest with you guys, I'm really shocked that we're still celebrating it.
I think
I
it's
don't know why it's celebrated at this point because really just the historical aspect of like
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
it surrounds
What it
is
stands
just
for.
it's not it. But
I really do think people need to just, like, I agree, like, forget about, maybe not forget about, but, like, just move the central idea of Thanksgiving to more of giving
Yes.
thanks and giving
Yeah.
back. Like, I know I've always liked to go to, like, I go to the soup kitchen on Thanksgiving. No, I do that on Christmas. Sorry, that was a complete lie. But, like, go and give back. Give
Right.
to charity. Give thanks on Thanksgiving. And, like,
Text a friend and tell them, hey, thanks for being there.
exactly.
I think people celebrate what it's turned into. At least the people I'm around, they don't even acknowledge what happened. Which, I mean, you shouldn't forget
Right,
what
right,
happened,
yeah.
like the origins about it. But it's more of giving thanks for what you have this
Getting
year.
together,
I think,
yeah.
I
And
think
I
this
think,
year
yeah.
people have a lot of things to be thankful for. You made it
Yes.
through COVID. You made it through a very long election. You made it through this, that, the other. Everybody's got their own thing that they got through this year. And some people unfortunately aren't, because of everything going on with COVID. They might not have the whole family at the table.
Right.
I know my family's not seeing my grandmother this year because she's old and we don't want her out.
Yeah.
Right. It's tough.
It's rough because she's been with us every Thanksgiving
Yeah.
for a very long time. So it's going to be weird not seeing her this year. But
Yeah, holidays this year are just going to be weird.
yeah,
I know.
especially because people
yeah.
are very limited with travel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This might be the first year that I'm not spending Thanksgiving with my parents, because I am from New York, so I don't know if I'm allowed to go home from Philly to New York. So it was a little heartbreaking to hear, like, out of, like, this might be the first year I cannot spend it with my actual family.
Mhm.
Not that we were doing the big thing or, like, a thing that we
Right.
normally do, but, like, just not being able to see, like, my two parents on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little, I'm hoping for the best, but
Mhm.
I know a lot of people are in the same, especially college students. A lot of college students are in the same boat as I am right
Yeah.
now, and it sucks. Like,
Yeah.
especially after this year, you just want to kind of go home and spend time with the family, and it just sucks not being able to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just this whole year has been so crazy.
It's been very stressful, which is why we should talk about de-stressing, especially for finals. Is
Oh,
college
yeah.
stress.
Oh, yes.
You know
a
how
question from one of our viewers
Yes,
on
they-
our Instagram.
Yes. Again, keep sending us questions.
Yeah.
We love the interaction.
We want your interactions.
So this one comes from my roommate at Tori Hivner. Totally did not force her or ask her to respond to our Instagram post at all. But she wanted to hear our thoughts about, for at least for Temple, our semester is winding down. So what do we do to de-stress from the stress of finals?
I'm reminding myself that I'm graduating in the spring and that I'm almost done.
Yes.
And while I do want to I want to get my master's degree after this, I'm taking a little bit of a reprieve from education because I've been in and out of it for longer than I care to share on the air.
Yep.
So I'm not that old, but I'm also just kind of reminding myself why I'm there.
Right.
And that, this, especially this semester, this whole year kind of sucked academically. A lot of classes for people just didn't translate well into an online format.
The tassel is worth the hassle.
Oh, yeah.
I love that, yes.
You have to keep reminding yourself that.
What about you guys?
Okay, so one way I know, like, my roommates and I de-stress, we probably do this every night, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm sorry to all my neighbors. We like to blast the music, like, listen to any song, like, we just blast it, and we spend, like, 5 minutes jumping around, dancing, singing. Like, if anyone walks past our window, pretty much every night, like, you'll see us dancing around and, like, screaming to any music. Honestly, I think that's a great way to de-stress. I know when we're having, like, a bad day, or we just have so much work, 5 minutes of just, like, carelessly jumping around, dancing and everything, sometimes you just need it.
Really, yeah.
It like, it's therapeutic, if I'm going to be honest. Just, like, get out that energy, get out the negative energy.
Yeah. For me, I've been in school a lot longer than I would like to admit to. I graduated in 2019 from undergrad and then just went straight to grad school. So I agree with you on just saying you've got a year left. You're so close to being there. And then I really like I have a paint by numbers kit that's really pretty therapeutic. I really like doing that. Working out if I can, and watching a funny show. I love Bob's Burgers. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it.
I love Bob's
seen
Burgers.
it.
Oh, thank God, yes. I definitely can de-stress from that. And also talking to people that are in my program, people that understand what I'm going through too, because they're also going through it, definitely helps. Yeah.
Olivia?
I will start off by saying our friend Alex's response to that,
Sure.
which
Yes.
is he listens to music and watches YouTube channels that he subscribs to.
All right.
Cool, you subscribe to ours?
Yeah, subscribe to ours. Subscribe to Useful Media, please. We need it.
Just some
Come on.
promo in there. But for me, similar things. I listen to music. I watch shows that I'm interested in. I love, like, horror shows and films like that, like scary stuff that usually but for some odd
I know,
reason,
right?
that distresses me.
Yep.
And yeah, just stuff like that. Taking a nap. I don't know.
yes. Yeah.
Realizing that maybe next year I'll actually give myself a break and do less than, like, 18 credits. We'll see.
Yeah. Definitely important. I think that this is not emphasized enough, but it's so important to put yourself first
Yes.
and make sure that you're taking care of yourself and trying to re-energize your battery as much as possible, because I know we've all been feeling this, but this semester's been tough.
It's been real bad.
It's just been a lot on all of us. The Zoom fatigue is...
It's through the roof, and
Yeah.
it's, I think, something that, at least, like, for me and for a lot of people that I've talked to, the thought, like, we're about to all register for classes for next semester, and it was exhausting to look for classes, knowing they're all going to be mostly online,
Yeah.
at least for Temple. So the Zoom fatigue, like, I know we have that little bit of time in between, but it's difficult to want to try next semester when you know how it's going to be, because you've lived through it this semester.
Right.
Like you said, that tassel is worth
It
the
is
hassle.
worth it.
And 2020 is definitely, like, showing us all the hassle.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, for de-stressing, I play music and I also read. So those are some personal things I like to do. I also
Journaling.
I was about to say I keep a list with little check marks next to it, and it's like, okay, you got to get this, and this done today.
Right.
So
Oh,
I
I
think
love
that's
doing that. So
keeping
satisfying.
keeping yourself as organized as possible. I think is very important.
Yeah.
One last thing, I'm gonna do a little shout out. I like to de-stress by cooking and baking. So go follow my baking Instagram at Allie Can Cook.
Yes.
I'll have to follow that.
Oh my god, it's quite amazing. I'm gonna make some macarons tonight, so stay tuned for that. But that's something like it's like if you've never tried just like baking when you're stressed out, honestly, like first you get to eat it,
Right.
and just the whole baking process that's what I also like to do.
Yeah, definitely comment on our Instagram. I want to know what everyone else has been doing. Maybe you guys have some tips that would be pretty helpful for us too.
Yeah.
Everybody spread the word. We're on every major social media outlet, so give us a follow our Instagram specifically. We're very active on that, especially with Jordan.
Yeah,
you're
that's
very
me
active
behind
on
it,
that.
guys.
Yep.
And Allison too.
All right, everybody, it's been a long week, but we got through it. Just want to conclude, I think we had a good show today.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Hope everyone has a great weekend.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Olivia, for being a great sound person yet again.
Yes.
And
Take care of yourselves.
I'm your host, John Fey. This has been the Intern Hour. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Bye guys.